Mr. Zanni, you have the floor.
Thank you, President. In the last few days, reading the comments and the statements of many colleagues, I had the impression that everyone was very irritated by this embarrassing situation which concerns the newly elected President Juncker. And so I hope that there's going to be lots of support for this motion of censure. But I think, unfortunately, the situation will be different because this House has shown over the years that it is the temple of European hypocrisy. Allow me to make a brief summary, starting with what the GUI group has said. They haven't realised that recently we've celebrated the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Perhaps the GUI group should realise it's time to cooperate with those people who think they're beneath content below them. We don't accept lessons in democracy from anyone, because we've seen over the recent months what the understandings of democracy are in this House. We have a different view and we're very proud. And to the Greens, I'd like to say the time has come to choose which side of the fence they want to be on, either with the big grand coalition which governs Europe or alongside us in order to change Europe. You've got to decide. You can't carry on sitting on the fence. And a clear choice has been taken by the Liberals. After suffering in the European elections, they're now totally subservient to the Socialists and the Christian Democrats, but they do have pro-European traditions. I would have expected them to have stood up and shown pride, because Mr. Juncker has shown that he is the antithesis of the European ideal. But I'd like to dwell for a moment on the Socialist colleagues and their President, Mr. Pittella, who had said in recent days that he wanted explanations from Mr. Juncker, otherwise he would have voted in favour of this motion of censure. Are you happy with the non-replies from Mr. Juncker? How can you believe that he will do what he's theoretically promised if, in fact, he's always behaved in the opposite fashion? Chairman Pittella, have you asked yourself whether Mr. Juncker is on the side of the citizens or on the side of the tax evaders? We all know very clearly what side Mr. Juncker's on, and he's not on the side of European citizens. As Prime Minister of the Grand Duchy, he actually stole millions of potential revenues for member states and put them in the pockets of the multinationals. I think it's paradoxical that to defend the interests of European citizens, it's only us defending the identity of Europe. We're the so-called Eurosceptics, and we're defending the citizens. All you're doing is defending the interests of the friends of Mr. Juncker, defending capital, big capital, defending multinationals. Mr. Juncker, you are the worst possible image of this Europe, and when you were heading the Eurogroup, you supported all the failed European economic policies. At the same time, instead of helping Greece, you were actually stealing millions from the coffers of the inland revenues of all the member states in order to put it into the hands of the multinationals. If you had a crumb of dignity, you would resign. You don't deserve to represent the Europeans, and I think we can send out a signal that the change is coming, the change that Europe needs. And so we're giving you all the opportunity to demonstrate that this European Parliament is the only institution with legitimate support of the citizens. You're there to look after the interests of the citizens, not the interests of the banks and the big powers and the multinationals. Thank you very much. The European Parliament is the only supranational institution that's directly elected by its people, and we are here to represent millions of citizens. However, with this vote on a motion for censure, you should be polite above all, because the first rule here is courtesy. I didn't react to the colleague when he was attacking my group and when he was attacking me personally, and you are not being polite. So with today's vote on a motion for resolution, the Parliament could actually end up going down in history. And I don't think it's ever happened that an executive body is actually called into question just 24 days after it's been set up. 24 days after it's been sworn in. Let's just see what would happen. Were we to send all the commissioners home, were we to sack them all, this 300 billion investment project that's going to be announced in a couple of days, that would go down the drain. We'd be cancelling the last chance for Europe to create jobs and combat the crisis. We'd have to start negotiations again between the member states to appoint a new commission. Months would pass by it would take months to create a new college of commissioners. In the meantime, the economy, the European society would be collapsing because there would be no response from us, and unemployment would increase. Our economies would give way to deflation. Is that what you want? Do you want to see deflation? Is that so? Do you want a morass, stasis, a lack of response? No, we don't agree with that. Mr. Pittella, you really are a laugh. You forgot in your apocalyptic vision, if we were ever to censure the Commission, the invasion of locusts and raining frogs. Mr. Verhofstadt, you didn't forget anything about when it came to insults and libelling. You were just burping out insults. I can find no other word in the very rich French vocabulary to describe your speech. And the reality is that thanks to the documents leaks, we've now got a further proof that Luxembourg is avoiding massive tax evasion in Europe. More than 300 multinationals have signed up agreements with the Grand Duchy in order to get big discounts on their tax. And once they get their discount, the profits then go back to Luxembourg through various financial tricks. And this means that you're siphoning off the revenue of member states, including France. And French citizens will be pleased to hear that thanks to Mr. Juncker, they had to pay more tax in order to make up for the loss of revenue flowing into Luxembourg and organised by Luxembourg. Luxembourg's not the only country concerned, but it has a crucial role to play when it comes to the accounting systems of multinationals. The cost prices, fake cost prices organised between companies and within different branches, and you see that no real assets are created in Luxembourg, and that low VAT rates are actually going into Luxembourg coffers, when in fact the VAT revenue should go to the country where the goods are consumed. So there's a plot here and conspiracy involving multinationals in Luxembourg, but they are following rules set in place by the European Union. This means that, of course, in Luxembourg people are very well off. There's lots of very wealthy accountants, very wealthy tax lawyers, but of course what their wealth is a result of the impoverishment of people in other member states. But now we're being told by Mr. Oettinger that we're supposed to be more zealous when it comes to reforming our taxes. But now in the afternoon we see that everyone's laughing in Luxembourg all the way to the bank. Now you're very good at these large-scale tax evasion systems in Luxembourg, and nobody could really believe that you're going to work hard and loyally in order to undo what you yourself created in the past. It would just be as credible as appointing Al Capone as a head of a security and ethics committee. So that's why we're going along with this motion presentation. We'd like to ask all those who want to fight against this scandalous tax evasion to throw out the Juncker Commission. You're not the only one at fault here. You're just the very good example of the monster that the European Union has become. Don't forget that the EPP and the Socialists and the Liberals have sworn you in, made you king, and you, because of them, are allowed to become this simple, the Europe of fraud, greed, injustice, cynicism. That is, it basically ensures that the poor suffer, and that is to the advantage of the rich. Thank you.